everybody,
This is Jigo Latinos.
and welcome to the show.
Our name is Sophie,
My name is Paula.
and we live in Beijing, China. The purpose of the show is to inform you all what life is like here in China and the expectations versus the reality of actually living here.
So I'm from Colombia,
I'm from Mexico.
and today's topic is about expectations versus reality and experiences. The name Chica Latino is related to the first experience that most of the foreign people who come to China have. The word Jiga is a survival word. What does it mean? Jiga means this. What does it work for? Well, every time you go into a restaurant or into a mall or any kind of store, you must know that word. Otherwise, you won't survive here. No. So first I have to explain something about the word. The word in the title is right, G-I-G-G-A. And that's not the correct way.
Jigo Latinos, as it's spelled in, for the channel, that's not the way it's actually supposed to be spelled. We spell it J-I-G-G-A, and then Latinos, but that's how foreigners usually, when they come to China, how we think that it is spelled, but it's not.
That's not the correct way to write the word. The word is spelled C-H-E-G-E. LOL. Okay, usually foreign people learn this word because it's super useful, and if you come to China you must know that word. You can use it every time you go to a restaurant, every time you go to a mall. You can use it to say what do you want or what. Jiga is a word that usually Chinese people use when they are in public places. They were saying Jiga, Jiga. The first time I knew I need to learn Chinese was when I went into a KFC restaurant, and apparently people doesn't know English anywhere here. So I tried to speak in English to the Chinese woman, but she didn't understand at all. So the only thing I could do to communicate with her was with signs. So I tried to communicate, pointing out the thing that I wanted, but at the end they just gave me something super different. So in that moment I knew I need to learn Chinese. So the first survival word I learned was Jiga. And then I went back to KFC super proud that I knew Chinese, and tell the lady Jiga. And then she gave me what I wanted.
And well, for me, I heard Jiga everywhere. In the middle of a sentence, now that I know more Chinese, it's a random sentence and it's Jiga, Jiga, Jiga. So it's used all the time for anything. And that's when I first started hearing it in
So that was the first experience you are going to have when you come to China. Another fun experience is that everywhere you go to China, there are gonna be super curious Chinese people who are gonna start taking pictures of you.
They're gonna ask you or not, or just get a phone and do this.
But probably they're not gonna ask you, they're just gonna take the picture.
One of the reasons why they may be so curious is that until the mid-70s, China's borders remained closed to all foreigners but a few. Even today, some Chinese may not be used to foreigners with Western-looking features, such as red or curly hair. This is especially true in smaller cities and in the countryside, where their expat community is not nearly as big as the one in cities such as Beijing or Shanghai.
So, it happened to me once when I went to a city called Harbin, to the north of China, and I went to check in at the hotel. And while I was talking to the lady who barely speaks English, she was taking me pictures right in front of me, and the phone was right here. and it was super creepy and weird. And at the same time, she was touching my nose and touching my eyebrows, and I was like, what the fuck?
Another experience that you might have with Chinese is like, for example, like when we're walking around, like, you know, like speaking Spanish or whatever, like around Chinese, like everyone's just like, oh my gosh. And then like, usually this is a personal one. I speak pretty quickly. So everyone's like, and they're like looking at us like filming. They're like, oh my gosh. They speak a different language. Yeah, so it's like really weird, and we're just like, okay, this is awkward, and we're just like, okay. And we're just like, no. In Polish words, lol.
I was once there like super Swabian and just waiting for the bus with my backpack and stuff, and I was just there, la 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 la. And then from the nowhere, a Chinese lady came and started touching my hair, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with you, Chinese lady? And then another one came and started touching my hair, and then like another 5 came and they all started touching my hair, and I was just there like, okay, alright, that's fine. And unfortunately the bus just came and it just ran away. But it was super weird, and it's something you have to have in your mind, that Chinese people are super curious about everything that is different, especially for people who have curly hair. Be careful when you come to China, because Chinese people are gonna start touching you all around.
A lot of foreigners get to China and they have a lot of expectations. For example, that they eat dog.
That's totally false. Chinese people don't eat dog. It's just in one little province at the south of China, and they do it because it's their culture and it's a custom they do there. But in the rest of China, they don't eat dog. So don't expect to come to Beijing or Shanghai and seeing all these markets full of dogs or Chinese people eating dogs in the streets. That's not gonna happen.
Dog meat is mostly eaten in southern provinces of China, such as Guangdong, Yunnan, and Guangxi. It is in this last province that the famous Yilin Dog Meat Festival is celebrated every year in the city of the same name. Recent years have seen a decrease in dog meat consumption, in part due to the Chinese government's reinforcing stricter policies, and in part due to the growing pressure from both Chinese and foreigner sectors of society, who have strived to raise awareness against this type of practices.
Another expectative is that China is full of pollution and contamination.
Wrong. In China, yes, there's some days there's like a lot of pollution and stuff, and I heard like my friend, when I went like back home, he told me, I was like, did you get your like little bubble of like air or something, like a little container of air, and like there's like those things. I was not even aware of this. Like I was like, what? I live there and I've never seen that. Like, but like no, like in the winter, then yeah, there's some days that have like a lot of contamination. But you know how you have like your little mask and like all like nice, but like no, I mean like in the summer, like you can see the sky is like all blue. It's nice. It's quite nice. Like it's not that bad. Like I mean, there's a lot of people here in Beijing. I mean, they haven't like died of contamination. Another expectation is that there's no one here that speaks your same language.
That's totally false. In my experience, I met some good friends, especially the director of this show, in that kind of experience. I was once at the Shitan. I was waiting for my food, blah blah blah. There were a lot of Chinese people around me and foreigners who didn't speak Spanish. And then 2 guys came like at the back of me, and they said like, "Muévanse putos!"
¡Ábranse, putos!
And I was like,
Shout out to Oliver.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna move, but I'm not a puto. So yeah, don't expect that anybody speaks your language here, because there are many people who does and they can understand what you're saying.
An expectation is that everyone here in China speaks English.
That's not true. Okay, so the title of this show is based on that expectation, and believe me, it's not true. Unless you come like with a tour guide and stuff, of course they know Chinese. I'm not generalizing, not all Chinese doesn't know English. There are one or two that know perfectly English, especially the ones that have been outside China. But most of them, they don't know English. So if you come as a backpacker or as a person come by itself to explore China, you must know a little bit of Chinese, or you can download a translator in your phone, such as Pleco, which is one of the best, is the one I use.
Me too.
So yeah. Okay, so that was all for today. We want to invite you to keep in touch with us.
So we're gonna have people from all over the world to try and like give us their experience in living here in China.
Cry if you didn't like it, well, put the down thumb.
I know you guys are so
Or if you like it, put the up thumb. If you hate us, just write it on the commentaries. If you want to insult us, si nos quieren chingar la madre, way, please write everything on the commentaries, and we will accept everything with love.
With love.
And thank you for watching us, and see you next episode. Bye bye.